Hell of a Monday night game, right? The first one. Not the second one, which I'll get to in a minute, but the first one. Because the first one had everything you'd want in a game, and it had some things that you definitely would not want in a game. The two phrases that always get used in the first week is, it's only one game, and picked up right where they left off. Well, the refs picked up right where they left off, jamming the Saints. The Texans' offensive line picked up right where they left off, picking up Deshaun Watson after he was getting decked repeatedly. In other words, two things that simply cannot keep happening, but are. And of the two, the Texans' pass protection was somehow even worse than the refs. Watson, you might recall, was sacked a league-high 62 times last year, just under 4 per game. Last night, he was sacked 6 more times. After being pressured on 41% of his dropbacks last season, he was pressured on 45% of them last night. So, sure, it's only one game. But if that one game is any kind of indication, the Texans' O-line is getting worse, not better. Watson's life is even more at risk now than it was last year. And despite all of that, he still nearly led them to an amazing comeback win. That's how much of a stud this guy is. I mean, seriously. Guy takes a tremendous shot and still ends up throwing a perfect pass, a perfect dime. 2 plays, 13 seconds, on the road in one of the most hostile, loudest joints on earth. Those are the kind of face-melting moments that this guy can give you as long as somebody's not in his face, and even when somebody is. So let me address the Texans personally. You guys have been given a national treasure in Deshaun Watson. Take care of this guy. Protect this guy. The world wants to see a long career from this guy. He's a stud. He's different. He's special. If you can't protect the man and he gets maimed, I'm telling you, I will personally come down there and I will not be happy when I arrive. And I don't root, but that's how much I think of and respect Deshaun Watson. And yes, I know Deshaun Watson is tough as hell. The guy is. We know this. But did you not see what happened to Andrew Luck over the past 4 years? And wasn't the same thing being said about Andrew Luck? He's tough as hell. Did you not see what happened to him the last 4 years? Because the rest of the world did. And the rest of the world knows that if you're lucky enough to get a transcending quarterback, you better do absolutely everything in your power to keep that guy safe. To not do so is practically criminal. And if Watson does get hurt, that's not just a loss for Houston. It's a loss for everybody. Again, he's that special. He's that good. How would you like to be Deshaun Watson? And you just got blasted the entire game. The defense gives up a horrible drive to lose the game, and your starting offensive lineman, the guy they brought in to protect you, is saying, 6 sacks is a little bit too high. We might need to get that number down.
You got to drop that number down a little bit.
We might need to drop that number down a little bit. You think, Laramie. Here's an even better idea. Instead of reducing that number, how about you eliminate that number? Or at least try to eliminate that number. Because it sounds to me like the guy they brought in to shore up the offensive line and to watch your back is saying, we all know 6 sacks is too many, but, I could probably live with 4, maybe 5. And as big of a letdown as that Texans offensive line was, what the hell was Houston's defense doing on that final drive? But before I get to the New Orleans Saints and the field goal, why don't we spend a moment on what happened right after the TD to Kenny Stills? Because at that point, that game was still tied at 27. The Texans kicked the extra point to take the lead, right? It's a given, right? Not exactly. Well, he missed all right. Was he hit? He was lying on his back. Tie game. Missed point after. Oh, but wait. There is a flag on the play. Saints fans had to love that. This is the same dome where the refs did not throw a flag against the Rams, yet now there's a flag for roughing the kicker. That had to feel pretty good. That had to feel just awesome especially after the Saints were jammed at the end of the first half with that bizarre clock runoff that started at the wrong time, cost them 15 seconds, and a much better look at a field goal. Now, I'm not going to say that the Saints fans have a point when they say the refs are out to get them, but I can't say that I blame them if they think that. So now they're down 28-27 after the made extra point, and Drew Brees goes to work. 15 yards to Ted Ginn, 11 to Michael Thomas, 9 more to Ted Ginn. That sets up the field goal. But before I roll the field goal, again, one quick question. What the hell were the Texans doing on defense? Defending a Hail Mary? It seemed like half that crew was bailing out and backpedaling when the Saints only needed like 9 yards. And actually, with the way Saints kicker Will Lutz crushed that ball, they didn't need any extra yardage because this guy absolutely smoked it. A hell of a win for the Saints, even if the refs did not want them to win. Had another bad night while working a Saints game. Despite that, hell of a game, great game, awesome game. Hell of a reminder of just how good Drew Brees still is in the clutch. A hell of a reminder of how good Deshaun Watson is and how good he could still be if Houston has any interest in keeping this guy upright. I don't know, Bill O'Brien, the GM, is going to have a long talk with Bill O'Brien, the head coach, today. Protections and prevent defenses are going to have to be atop that list to address. Coach him up, Billy, because Billy, the GM, cannot help you anymore. He's already traded away half the future for a guy that was supposed to have your quarterback's back and did not.